Retrenchment, the word that cuts deep. Not just a loss of income, but a blow to your identity, your stability, and self-worth. But what if I told you that this moment, this seemingly insurmountable setback, holds within it the potential for the most profound transformation of your life? Rubbish! I just got retrenched, and it was not a moment filled with butterflies and existential wonder with the universe. It sucks. And depending on how sudden and unexpected it was, it's a rug pull that catches you off guard and just leaves you there trying to make sense. Now, depending on how you see the world, you might end up doing stuff that does not help. To the contrary, it might even make it a whole lot worse. I was tempted to either go and sit in a dark corner and binge watch on Netflix, or to go into hyper fix-it mode, building a website, starting a new business, and trying to get everything sorted out before midnight. Actually, most of it is still a blur. I had a sensible conversation with a friend that told me, wait, don't make any rash decisions. I don't know what your situation is. Every situation is different. In my case, I had a bit of time. So I continue every day with as much normal stuff as possible, with a very clear time limitation, before I started getting into deep thoughts, before I started trying to figure this thing out. Let me tell you what I've learned so far. Maybe it can help you as I try to make sense. The psychological impact of retrenchment. So let's face it, retrenchment isn't just about losing a paycheck. It's about losing a piece of ourselves. For many, a job is not just labor. It's our identity, purpose, and its community. The team I worked in was fantastic. Actually, our whole team was retrenched, considered redundant. Well, some strategic decisions are outside of our control, and definitely outside of my understanding. Back to the point. When that's taken away, it's like your happy place that's get taken away. Your mind rebels. And psychologists have identified 4 key struggles in this phase. The first struggle is uncertainty. There's an intense fear of the unknown. You've got no idea what comes next. Then there's the pressure, the relentless demand to bounce back overnight. We've got an unbelievable resilience culture that expects you to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. I need to do a video on resilience, true resilience, but it blew my mind, and it's not what you think. Back to the point. A loss of self concept. Who am I without this role? And this really depends on how long you were in that specific role. The longer you entrenched yourself into this company, into its workings, the more difficult this may seem. Then you get like this attachment to the past, especially if you had a good work experience. If the team and your boss were great people to work with, it's going to be difficult. Here's the hard truth. Clinging to what was will only weigh you down. You need to appreciate the value of what you experienced and learned up until this moment that got ruptured and broke almost everything. So the first step is to recognize that this pain is real, but it's temporary. You are more than your job title. And let's quickly delve into that. There's some emotional phases to job loss. You can actually think of this loss as grieving, because in many ways it is. There are emotional phases that you'll experience. Same as grief. Anger. Why me? Why now? Why this company? Guilt. Was it my fault? Could I have done more? You might even experience depression, where the energy drains out and doubts creep in. But then you get to acceptance and relief. A realization that the uncertainty is over now that you've started kind of like getting used to the idea and getting kind of like wrapping your head around it. And now you can actually start with the rebuilding. So that's kind of like the process you go through emotionally. And here's the paradox. It's in this moment of acceptance that the weight begins to lift. Clarity emerges. It's the beginning of something new. So there's this interesting study that found that simply identifying the worst part of an incident can be the key to healing. By naming your fear, you take its power away. So if you want to read more up on it, I'll give the links in the description. Now, let's get to the essential mental shifts for recovery. And here's where the real work begins. Those who recover from retrenchment don't just move on, they actually transform. And it starts with these critical mindset shifts. First one, you need to develop a growth mindset. A fixed mindset sees retrenchment as like a failure. A growth mindset sees it as an evolution. The question is not why did this happen to me, but rather, what can I learn from this? I was not ready for this. On the day of getting the news, oh, what can I learn from this? Don't open your email. Now, back to the point. History is filled with stories of those who turned losses into legacy. Steve Jobs was fired from Apple. That exiled him to create Pixar. Cool story, right? But wait, there's more. Later he returned to Apple and transformed it into a $1 trillion empire. I mean, that is so spectacular that we run the risk of not appreciating the fact that growth mindset is an evolution. Iteratively growing in the way you think and deal daily with challenges. He didn't just one day wake up and like change the whole world. So have grace with yourself. Have grace with your growth mindset, that it grows iteratively, bit by bit. It starts by knowing that you're not defined by what happens to you, but by how you respond. This takes us to the second shift. A shift from desperation to strategy. Panic leads to poor decisions. Clarity leads to opportunity. Instead of frantically searching for any job, take a moment. Define what you truly want. Don't underestimate this point. There is so much more to it. So I had to ask myself, what skills do I have that are valuable? And then it was like, okay, what do I love and hate about my last job? So this is a difficult one. What kind of job or work will make me feel fulfilled? Now, follow me on this one and subscribe. Here's the point. Don't miss it. By focusing on where you're going, rather than what you've lost, you start taking back control. This is crucial. Third shift, from bitterness to bridge building. Many people carry resentment towards former employers, but bitterness is dead weight. That stuff will destroy you. Instead, practice bridge commitment, the ability to transition gracefully. The way you leave matters just as much as where you go next. Pause before you react and choose dignity over resentment. You don't want to burn bridges with a potential network now. So this one helped me quite a lot. Through this whole process, I had to actively frame and reframe my experiences. And it's not lying to myself by saying, oh, I'm having a great day, nothing is wrong, this is fun. That's not reframing. It's more like, I have spent the last 10 years working in this company, learning and experiencing amazing stuff. And I'm not going to let that be taken from me because this incident happened. So how do we apply this? The fourth shift, reframe this as an opportunity. Some of the greatest breakthroughs happen in moments of upheaval. Research suggests that those who see resentment as an opportunity rather than a catastrophe bounce back faster and stronger. So take this time to learn a new skill. Online courses, certifications. I was amazed at the amount of stuff that I could learn and access online to get myself into a new skill. It's amazing. Expand your network, be it industry events, LinkedIn, volunteering, not just broadening your support base, but actively broadening the people you connect with within the industry you want to move into. You need to reevaluate your finances, cut excesses, optimize spending. It can be quite liberating, getting rid of stuff, subscriptions, whatever it might be that you don't really need or use or actively engage in. This is not just about survival. It's about some vital points that I realized, like the role of resilience and support. Resilience is not an inherited trait. It's built brick by brick. And the three pillars that support it are personal competence, that belief that you have in your own ability to adapt. Social support, the second one. Surrounding yourself with people that will uplift you. family coherence, a stable foundation that keeps you grounded. It's in moments like these that I realize that many neglect some of the most practical elements of resilience, like self-care, exercise, sleep, meditation. These aren't luxuries. Personally, they are necessities that keeps my mind and my body strong. I need to rest well and I need to move often. And the day I realized that, it helped me a lot. Please remember that seeking help is not a weakness, it's wisdom. Professional counseling, career coaching, even a simple conversation with a friend or a mentor or a loved one can provide the clarity you need. I remember some key conversations in this last month where it really helped me to get clarity in this process of sense making. There's actually so much to be said about resilience and support. Let me know in the comments if you want a whole video dedicated to just that. I think we can do that. It will be good for me too. The thing that makes retrenchment such a bad experience, not so much finding a new job, although it is hard, it is, make no mistake. And this is actually where the two dangers come in that you need to avoid. You need to actively rebuild your identity, especially if you realize through this whole process that building your identity around your role or your job wasn't a great idea. You also need to rebuild trust. If you don't, danger number one, some people become overcommitted to their new roles, working themselves to exhaustion out of fear of being let go again. But remember, you were retrenched in the first place. There was nothing you could do about that. Danger number two, some people become detached, hesitant to fully engage with the new team or the role of the company, actually losing out on the deep fulfillment of doing something great with your time. Neither of these approaches serves you. Your goal is to get balance. Do not let this one experience define your entire career. Do not let this one employer dictate your future relationships. Retrenchment is not who you are. It's something that happened. And once you separate the two, the weight lifts.